welcome back to the show if you're just joining us. And if you've been here all morning, well, we're back for the last 1 hour of the show. And this is when we have a full house. We have panelists to discuss the issues at hand on the show. Today we're looking at the live at Destitute camps in Nigeria, and we're focusing on what is going on at these camps across the country. But today we're focusing especially at live at the Destitute camp in Okobaba, Ebutemeta, here in Lagos. We have a correspondent, Ijama Esek, who's standing by for us there. So you'll be able to watch us live. So head over to Facebook and YouTube. You can view us where we are streaming live right now. And you would also be able to see the camp because Ijama will be there showing us everything that's going on. So what are you waiting for? Head over to Facebook, head over to YouTube. Make sure you turn on your notification because we're live right now. Welcome to the show. I'm Wemimo Adewuni.
And I'm Sheriff Quadry. In case you'd like to follow us on Facebook, we are Nigeria Info FM, on YouTube. That's it. On Facebook, it's still Nigeria Info FM. You can also drop your comment on those platforms. For us, our WhatsApp portal is 0809 597 5805. That is 0809 597 5805. Please keep your comments short and straight to the point. Our conversation is about to start.
Yes, we have a full house. For those who are watching, you can see here we have in the studio. Remember that every Friday we have a partnership with the Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, and we host the female reporters who have done women-oriented stories, and this is what we look at every Friday. So today we have joining us Funke Fayemi. She's a journalist with the Voice of Nigeria. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you here in the studio.
All
right, we also have here Mrs. Favor Benson, the Executive Director, Jasha Bell Torture Heart Foundation. Thanks for being here, ma'am.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. And we have the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Social Development, here with us in the studio. She's Dr. Mrs. Bola Balogun. Good to have you here, ma'am.
Yeah, good morning.
And we also, yes, ma'am. We also have Mrs. Toyin Jayola, Director, Rehabilitation and Rescue. Good to have you here, ma'am. All right, you might need to speak into your microphone so people can hear you.
Okay.
Up. Okay, there we go. So let us start this conversation. Why do we have destitute homes? That might be a question you have on your mind. Statistics reveal that the country with the highest number of destitute people in the world, in Africa, is Nigeria. This is because, obviously, just do the calculation, about 56.7 million destitute people live in various parts of the country. This simply means that about 35.6% of Nigerians fall into this category of destitute. According to the Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative, over 90% of destitute people live in South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa. Research findings indicate that while India serves as home to 348 million destitutes, Nigeria houses approximately 57 million destitutes. Ethiopia statistically has 72 million destitute as citizens. Also, researchers conducted a research that's from the Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative. It reveals that some 25 subnational regions have a high incidence of destitution, which is above 71%. These regions are part of Chad, Burkina Faso, South Sudan, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Uganda, and Mali. And to change the narrative of this, of these people living in destitute camps, a journalist went there to do a special report on the lives of girls in destitute camps. That's Funke Fayemi. So let's start with you. What inspired this story and what did you find out?
Okay, I work with Voice of Nigeria, and every morning on my way to work, I notice that there are some girls by the side of the bridge as I descend the bridge. Some physically challenged, some are not. They beg for hams. So when the opportunity came for me as one of the people working with Wole Soyinka Center on Female Reporters Leadership Fellowship, the first thing that came to my mind was to go to one island in a place somewhere in Lagos to see how girls live.
Right.
But later, I said, oh, But I see girls lining the streets begging for hams. Some holding their parents, some not. Where do they come from? So I found out that there is a camp in Lagos called Destitute Camp, Okobaba. I went there, saw a lot of people. I said, how do these girls manage to survive? What kind of lifestyle are they living? What is the health implication of what I saw on ground? Do they know how to take informed decisions on how to be good in life? Are they also going to be beggars like their parents? So this gave me, I pitched the story, it was approved, and I went on. I went to the camp. Before I could find my way into getting the people to speak, it was tough. But I found out that they have leaders. They have three. They are divided into three: the crippled, the lepers, the blind. I spoke with all of them. I found out that the girls, they even ran to me because they felt I brought food.
You brought something for them.
But I didn't bring food. They said, oh, we won't speak with you except you have something for us. I had to buy things for them to get what I want.
How large is this community?
I found out that this place was built in 1990 by the then military governor of Lagos State, Marwa, General Marwa. And it was built to house 300 people.
Oh, wow.
2017, when I did this report, there were over 10,000 people living.
What did you say?
Over 10,000 people
For a space meant for 300
people. And the statistics, when I went to the Lagos mainland local government to speak with the local government chairperson then, Mrs. Omolola Essien, I found out that 47% of the people living there, but the network here is females. 12% of them were between the ages of 15 and 49. And this means there are more of women of childbearing age within this camp. I found out that it wasn't fair on the girls. You find that those young girls back the babies, carry them around while their mothers may be cooking or they've gone out to beg for alms.
You say you spoke with the leaders of the camp. What did they tell you?
The leaders, they're used to it. Some of them, they've been living there for the past 25 years. And their rooms, they said, oh, we don't have anywhere to go. We came from the north. We were taken from the streets of Borno and Kano streets at that time. And there's nowhere for us to live. And our children, we don't have money to send them to school. I said, okay, you have government around you, the local government. Do you go there? They say, at times we go there, they don't attend to us. So we have no other means other than begging, and NGOs and people that come around, they give us things.
Did you cite a school in this place or a hospital for these 10,000 people?
No, I was coming to that. I met with a lady. She wasn't on ground the day I went there, but I got her phone number. I got across to her. She gave me an appointment. I met with her. She runs a school within this camp, a room. It was given to her by those people. Her name is, the name of the lady is Agatha Akran. She runs, she's Ahere Akran. She runs Agatha Obiageli Agedo Memorial Foundation. She's the founder of that foundation, and she brings in those children. When I went to the class, I met with the children. We had the class together. The girls were coming in with the babies. We had more of girls in the class than boys.
Right.
They're interested in learning, but the wherewithal to do it wasn't there.
So I'm looking at this side of the table, and I can see I'm coming back to you. I'm looking at this side, and I see that conversations are already going on. So we're having these conversations because we want to see a change, and we want lives to be improved on this for these people. So it's really great that we have the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Youth and Social Development, under which this would fall, and also the director rehabilitation and rescue. So I see you exchanging some data. 10,000 people for a space meant for 300 people. How did we arrive here? Who would answer me? Let me allow you to decide. Maybe I should start with you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. We're from the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. Our main work is to promote the worth and dignity of the vulnerable in Lagos State. and the beggars on the streets are also in this group of vulnerable, right? In recent years, we all know about the Boko Haram insurgency in the north, the killings and the kidnappings in the northeast, and this has increased the influx of beggars into Lagos State, and it has worsened the situation of destitutes on our streets in Lagos State.
Right.
And as we improve our facilities in Lagos State, the influx increases, right? So at Okobaba, yes, this place was set up during the Marwa administration, but we in Lagos State, we take care of the people housed there. As you have said, that they have an organization, it's a community. Actually, the whole place was not really meant to be a permanent place of abode, but it has turned into a permanent place of abode.
Why did it turn into a permanent place of abode?
Yes, because these people are not ready to integrate into society. You said that there's a small school. We have a government school next door, right? We have social workers who place children in government schools, but most of them don't want their girls to go to school.
But ma'am, primary education is compulsory, and a parent can be arrested if you ensure that your child does not go to school. Has the government arrested any of these parents?
Right. Now, we have a child rights law, which is resident in our ministry. And we have zero tolerance to street children milling around and not going to school. We regularly rescue children on the street, especially those that are being exploited for begging.
Right.
And according to the law, we are to charge the parents to court. We have a mobile court. We charge them to court. And there's an option for fine, and there's an option for imprisonment. Right. And we charge them. And we say, okay, what do you want? They'll say they will pay. And they pay, and we leave them. And then they go back.
So what is this fine that they are able to pay and go back?
30,000.
So if they are destitute and they are as poor as we have imagined, how do they afford to pay 30,000 naira, go back to the community, be picked up for the same crime, pay another 30,000? Is this what really happens?
Yes, they're begging and they have money. They have money. What we want to do now is we want to make a proposal to review the law, to review upward review of the fine. Maybe if we review it upwards, they'll find it difficult to pay.
Mrs. Favor, you're shaking your head.
Yes.
You've worked. Have you gone to this place?
Yes.
This destitute camp. Tell us about your work.
We had privilege of going to handle cases in that place, because our office is at Alimosho local government, and then you have some of these women, those local women in Alimosho coming to tell you, mommy, aburo me, like that, and all of that.
Please subtitle in English for
yes,
those.
Yes, and the thing there is that you find out that there are different cases in happening. So somebody who got our number will call and say, oh, there's so thing happening here, and then I know about Okoba,
right?
But I never heard anything like Okobaba. And then when they now said that,
it's like, Okobaba.
It's Okobaba.
Okobaba.
Okay.
So, but there's Okoba that we know. So when they mentioned that place, they were like in the Butemeta. I've never had that. And then when we got there, we were like, wow, in Lagos, like that. So what took us there mostly is cases, abuses of different kind. And then just like what the PAMSEC is saying, that when you pick anybody and find them, they are one community that, when you talk about united collaboration, so even if you put 100,000 naira, the heads will go around and say, so person is in trouble, and then you have to bring the money. So I don't even know what they're going to review it, except if there's a conject fine, like you will say, if you do this, you will go to prison. And
no option.
No option.
So you're saying if someone is arrested, the community would contribute to get them to pay the fine, and they come back and repeat the same.
And then you will now come back and they will tell you maybe within the next 1 month you have to go and collect arms and then pay back.
PAMSEC, very quickly, let me come to you. Is the state overwhelmed? Because if people are coming into the state because there is a destitute camp and they keep committing offenses upon offenses because they could afford to get away with it by paying fines, can't the state do something more stiffer, like maybe repatriating them to their home states?
Oh yes, we do. We do. Sometimes we have social workers that do the social investigation, find out where they are actually from, then take them to the liaison office of the state, and then it depends on what the liaison office decides. And sometimes the liaison offices actually repatriate them to the state of origin, and then they find their way back.
But repatriating them, isn't that illegal? Isn't it so that every Nigerian has a right to live anywhere in the country they want to?
No, what I mean is that, you see, it's always better to live with your family. If you have a street child just roaming the street, you want that child to be in a family setting. So they do social investigation. Oh, where's this child from? Oh, this child is from Niger State. Oh, okay, let's take this child back to the family. Because it's not good for the society, it's not good for the child to be roaming the streets.
Right.
And
right.
everybody should, it's better for everybody to live within the family setting.
Okay.
We are social workers in my ministry, and we value family.
Let me come to you, ma'am, Mrs. Jayoba, Director Rehabilitation and Rescue. This is directly on your table because these children are on the street. We all see them begging. And I was shocked when I was told that if you see about 3 children begging, there's probably an adult somewhere watching over them whom they're delivering these proceeds to. So there are adults involved in this business. And this is why they don't want the kids to go to school. So I clearly understand that you have social workers in this ministry, but tell us actively what you do, because we see these children. This destitute camp is here with about 10,000 people for a space of 300. I remember also on top of this that about 50% of Nigerians are absolutely poor. So it's not their fault that they are poor. So what is the government doing about this?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The government of Lagos State is doing quite a lot of things to improve lives of these destitutes.
I'm not sure we can hear you on that microphone.
Okay, I said,
Can you move to this one? I think there's something.
The government of Lagos State.
No, nothing is coming out from there. Let's try this one.
Okay. The government of Lagos State is doing quite a lot to improve lives of the destitutes, the vulnerable ones. But like in my ministry, we have trust fund for them that ensure that they are being empowered yearly.
Let's say that again. There is a trust fund.
Yes.
Tell me how this works.
Empowered how, really, exactly?
La Soda.
We just talked about La Soda yesterday.
Okay.
So talking about special children. Tell us about this trust fund.
In place for them that sees to giving them assistive devices, the cane, these people living with disabilities. Then they ensure that they give them some amount of money to set up their businesses.
How much is this?
100,000.
Oh, that's quite a lot.
100,000 for this fund covers how many people, or just as many as you
Just
can?
one person.
Just one person.
100,000 there.
So let me tell you now that we are here. Yesterday, people were not nice when they had, about their thoughts for La Soda. So I'll share some of those thoughts with you.
Okay.
So we talked about special children yesterday, autism and care for special needs. And most of the callers who called said La Soda is barely functional, and that we have a lot of special needs children and destitutes and people who need welfare, but La Soda is hardly ever anywhere. We don't even know you're working.
You know the population of people in Lagos State, the population of people living with disability in Lagos State. So there are quite a lot of people to be helped.
Okay.
Like this, yes, that's the problem. Is the population problem and the influx of people to Lagos State.
Okay.
A lot of people leaving their own state, coming to Lagos to for the benefits that they can derive.
But they also
they also
add to the revenue of the state
because
they work and they pay their taxes.
They have been taken care of. They have been taken care of, and they even learn a vocation. They are given opportunity to learn one vocation or the other, and they even employ. They take them as instructors after learning a vocation, and they ensure that even their children are being employed. There are quite a lot of things.
If you're watching online right now, correspondent Ijema Esek is standing by. You just saw a video of the Destitute camp. This is live, so make sure you head over to Facebook, YouTube, so you can see the camp.
Then my
right
ministry, you know what they do? What we do for them is that we ensure that we take care of, we dispose their waste. We partner with Ministry of Environment, Loma. I spoke with their they have a secretary. The secretary yesterday, he said the vehicle broke down, but they will ensure that they will bring their container from Loma, so they ensure that they take away their waste. That is, and their septic tanks. We ensure that that one too is taken care of.
But that's not what you had in your report, Funke.
That is as at 2006.
We also feed them.
As at
We have a line of charge. We provide food for them. We have a line of charge. And we provide, the money is set aside to provide food for them. We have social workers that place their children in schools. We're also available to give them medical treatment when required. Now, when you talk about sexual abuse and all that, if we are contacted, we know how to treat it, because we have zero tolerance for sexual abuse. We work together with the domestic violence and sexual abuse response team at Alausa.
I think as at that time I did this report, there were so many things that were not in place. I spoke with the chairperson of the island, Lagos Island local government at that time, and she told me they were having challenges. Because, like you rightly said, Mrs. Benson said, the place is a very closed environment.
We're watching it right now.
Penetrate into the place.
Let's go on a very quick break. Funke. We need to go on a break now. Don't worry. When we come back, that was 2017. So we would see what's going on there right now.
Intervention came. Loma packed that.
Well, we would know. We would know yesterday. Our correspondent is standing by there.
We have a camera.
We
there
would
now,
know. We would see. We would see what's going on.
We're seeing.
So head over to Facebook, people, or YouTube, and you can view the Destitute camp in Okobaba. We'll bring on our correspondent Ijema Esek to speak with us, and we will speak with some of the people in this community right now, so we can know what's really going on there now. Let's go on this break. We'll be right back. just had to be a part of the conversation that was going on in the studio during the break. It was, I mean, fantastic. Arguments back and forth. No, we're doing enough. No, it's hardly enough. But we gave them some money. But we gave them. It's been really beautiful. Welcome back to the show. It's a morning Crossfire. And today we're looking at the life in destitute camps. And we're focusing on a report done by Funke Fayemi of Vaughan, Life of Girls in Destitute Camps. She made this report in 2017. And just to keep us updated, our correspondent Ijema Esek is right now at the destitute camp. If you're watching us live on Facebook or YouTube, you would have seen clips of what the camp looks like. She'll come on shortly to tell us, and we'll be able to speak with some of the persons there. We have a full house. We have Olufunke Fayemi, who made this report. She's from the Voice of Nigeria. We have Mrs. Favor Benson, the CEO of Jashibel Torch Heart Foundation. We also have here the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Social Development, Dr. Mrs. Bola Balogun, and also Mrs. Oluwatoyin Jayola, who's the Director, Rehabilitation and Rescue. So we are throwing the challenges and they're telling us what they've been doing on the show. Welcome back. I'm Wemimo Adewuni.
And I'm Sheriff Quadry. Remember, you can join us on Facebook and YouTube at Nigeria Info FM to watch us live and drop your comments there. We'll be taking your messages in a short while on our WhatsApp portal as well. The WhatsApp line is 0809597805.
So when we were on that break, let's bring some of our gists to our listeners. we mentioned some of the challenges. I was surprised that Mrs. Benson said some of them are so rich that you think they're poor, but just go behind the corner and they're eating food from fast restaurants that you probably have not had a meal from there in a long time.
I didn't have 500 to buy the local rice. So when I went there and I saw 4 grown-up, people, and they were eating chicken, and it's not even big. It's not all this kind of big. The real Coca-Cola.
The big size. Big size.
And then I asked them. I said, "So why are people eating and this one's out there?" They said they had their own meal for. So I asked the little girl. I said, "So you have had chicken and this?" And she said, "Yes. My own day there. My own day there. I won't go also." And then I'm like, "Wow,
Let me ask you a hard question, ma'am, Dr. Mrs. Balogun. Should we legalize begging and tax them?
No, begging is street begging is against the law in Lagos State.
Maybe for adults, they've made a business out of this, and they are making a lot of money.
So the state can make money from it.
So we
can
tax them.
Absolutely no. Absolutely no. Everybody should work for his living.
It's interesting you say
tax.
You said it's illegal, but you still find them everywhere.
Yes. We try our best to rescue, to get them off the street and prosecute them.
It's almost looking like the state is not doing anything, because saying you try your best, everybody sees beggars everywhere, every day in Lagos.
Yes, as we remove them from the streets, they go back.
And you see some of them even with babies, infants,
yes, that's
begging
what
inside the sun.
Yes, and I would like to take this opportunity to talk to the general public not to give alms.
Yes.
If it is not lucrative, they will look for something better to do. They will look for a better means of livelihood. Please don't give alms to beggars, especially the ones with children. They are exploiting these children. It is against the child rights law in Lagos State. So I just urge the general public not to give alms to beggars.
To buttress what she's saying, you find out that some of these beggars, if it's not even just them, you find out that when you look at something like Thursday, Fridays, you see that some of these big rich people will package things, will take mint. It could be 100 naira mint, and then I wouldn't know, maybe for prayers or something, and they go out there. It's not even only in Okobaba. When you go to Agege, you can't enter there. Matter who you are, you can't, because they have leaders and all of that. And this one will say, "I'm the one that is heading these beggars. I'm the one that is doing this," and all of that. So for you to even bring in anything, you have to go through. And then you see that by the time we started going to that, when we went to that Okobaba, that we found out from attending to one abuse case, we saw so many, and everyone was like, "God bless you, ma, you came," and all of that. One, I couldn't stand there because I never knew anything like that existed. And then and I found out that those people who are there, they enjoy that kind of life. It's not all of them that came from the north. Some of them because they couldn't afford their rent. So they came there. In fact, there's a particular woman who said that, oh, they took away my shop from me, so my husband brought me there. I said, so your husband brought you to this place? She said, yes. And I said, are you making it here now? She said, at least it's better than not doing anything. And, like that. Then you find out those ones who are beggars. And the person will tell me, one of the guys told me, said that kiosk where they did, and me get them. I put somebody there. So I get like 3 kiosks.
Yes.
Do you understand?
It's a full community.
Yes. So that's why I wanted to buttress what Wemimo said, whether we are going to be legalizing. And then I said that each time I go to borrow all my 50 naira and everything, those boss people, they will pay me something. Like when you go to party and you have to pay some amount to get it.
Oh, so they have a bureau de change.
Yes. So all the 10 naira, 20 naira, and you say as a pack now, if you want 1,000 naira, you go give this amount, then you go, and they have business sense. So, but if Lagos State can now transmit that or translate that or change that into something that is positive, if with their being uneducated, with the kind of shallow life and everything that is happening there, that is not of their own make, because Lagos State is trying. I deal with the Ministry of Youth and Sport. My foundation work with them. I can imagine how many children will bring. You will see some women that are selling paraga. In fact, there was the day we came, my people brought a woman with 3-month-old baby, and one was 5, and the second one was 3. And the woman broke the head of the 5-year-old because she lost one of her slippers that she suffered and paid. She was doing paraga. So when I investigated and I found out, I said, what about your husband? She said, my husband is selling Igbo and he's in prison. And then they said he's going to take about how many years before he comes out. And I'm the only one struggling. And then I will, So, and then we discovered that the woman will lock those children by 5 p.m. and goes to tell paraga with the 3-month-old and come back in the morning. Then she will now come and open the door for them. So by the time I just couldn't stand all of that, knowing fully well that the husband is, I said, so you are selling paraga, your husband is selling Igbo. I said, okay. So so we send them to allow some youth and sport. I was surprised because I felt like, okay, maybe they would take the 2 other one, the 5 and the 3, But I was surprised. The youth and sport said no. They took even the 3-month-old baby.
Yeah,
we
do that.
That is for you to know how thorough they are. So, and then you can imagine, not just from Okubaba now, everywhere in Lagos, there's issues, Ikorodu, we bombard them. So when you find out that a state that has been earmarked, like maybe other states spend like 300,000 for their youth and sport, and Lagos State is doing 1.5, and yet you can't, because of the kind of everywhere there is problem in any other state, they are coming to Lagos and all of that. But we are still thinking as NGOs that there still should be a way that government will enforce it. But if I tell you they are difficult people, they will not want you to break into them. They will see you immediately. You are coming. You are an enemy of souls.
Mrs. Jayola, during the break, we talked about how difficult it is because of their culture and way of life of the people in that camp. And I'm wondering, how is this being difficult for the state government? Because the law is superior to any culture or any way of life.
Yes. I think it's only the law that we can use.
So who is supposed to enforce the law in this instance?
That's it. We want to make it more stringent, so that if we that's what my peers said, that maybe we should try and make it more stringent. Like that 30,000 is easy for them to pay. Maybe it should be increased, and some other things, so that we stop this act of begging and everything, because they've turned it to form.
Do they have? It would be. I anticipate that it will become livelihood. Like I said earlier, about 50. It shouldn't, but it naturally would. Do they have skills? Are there other things they can do? Unemployment rate is high for those who have even gone to school.
It's high enough.
It's high. People are poor. They need to live. They need to survive. So they would make a livelihood out of it. But the government, like I said earlier, owes a responsibility to the citizens to ensure that they have good standard of living. This would include transforming them from being beggars into having,
In fact, we need to change their cognitive reasoning.
How do you do that?
That's part of what we are doing, to tell them that you have to learn something. If you cannot go to school, you learn something, a vocation.
Are there centers in that community or around there where they could go to?
We have a center we have a center, but I think we need to do more sensitization.
Okay.
That if your children cannot go to school, you have to learn a skill, a vocation, so that maybe through that. But the problem we have that they are so used to this begging, and
so are we going to leave them this way?
we are working. We rescue them off the streets. We we sensitize them on the ills of begging. Even, and if you say we want, the security threats, if they, and the way they come to Lagos and everything. So we are do more sensitization to ensure that we change their reasoning.
Has it helped, this sensitization that the state government has done? Has it helped in any way? Have you felt the impact of sensitization?
Because the problem we have is that this influx is the problem.
The environment is overflooded.
Yes,
that's the problem.
Influx.
You find people lying the corridors with their beds. In the rooms, you find too many people. The bathrooms are not just it. They don't have anything working there. So even if you send them to learn one thing or the other, or they go to school, the moment they get back to that environment, their orientation changes from what they learned from outside, and they live the lifestyle of inside that place. And they have a lot of problems. Challenges are there, and the only person, or the only, apart from NGOs and media people, is government. To me, if government says no to something, definitely no one can go against.
Let me tell you why she's correct. Remember that Oshodi used to be a mess.
Thank you.
Right. When government decided to enforce that Oshodi was going to be a sane place and people were not going to be selling on the road, right now, bikes, when the government was going to clamp down on motorcycles on the highway, on the expressway, it was done. So do we see the will of the government to actually take these people from this camp meant for 300 people, and we have 10,000 people living here? There could be an outbreak of diseases. Ebola is here. You have so many contagious diseases.
Yes.
And if we have an epidemic on our hands, then we'll be spending more than we would rather have spent now.
Right.
Yeah, definitely government is always looking for ways to improve, especially to improve the lot of the vulnerable. And these people are in the group of the vulnerable. As the director said, we are doing sensitization, trying to change their mindset. But one thing I would like to say, I want to talk to what Mrs. Benson said. We have the well-to-do in our society who go there, give them meat, give them food and everything. I think we should actually start to talk to people who have the means to give to these people, not to go to the streets to give them, but to find a structured way of giving their donations in such a way that the donations will be given to them to improve their lot, instead of just giving them handouts. They're giving them handouts. They're giving them fish, but they're not teaching them how to fish.
Isn't that the job of the government?
The teaching
are
to
you
fish.
transferring?
Yes, we do. We have empowerment, as the director said. We have empowerment programs, but these people, they because of their culture, they are not interested. It's much easier for them to sit and beg and collect money.
Sheriff, you know what I'm going to say to
Yes,
this?
please.
I remember that when Mrs. Lola Dini of the domestic violence came on board, the rate of domestic violence was high, but there was something she did. In fact, like every 3 months, there's always meetings. And what she did, she identified the NGOs that work
with them.
Yes. And then they have a directory in Lagos now that if you click it, you will see all the NGOs that does anything that has to do with domestic violence, girl child, and all of that.
Right.
And so when there is anything happening, you want to know in that group, this person is handling domestic violence on this beat.
Right.
So when there's a case on that beat, you know where you're pushing it to. So it made us to achieve a lot. Now the youth and sport may be doing so much, but they are doing it all by themselves. There are NGOs that work there. There's this lady they call Tolulokpe Shongosonya or something. She works so hard, she trains them, she does that all by herself.
Right.
So if there's an empowerment somewhere, if there's a support that kind of a woman gets, I don't think there's anybody that will tell you more about that Okobaba than that kind of person.
Right.
People like us that go there, people like us that handle cases, if the youth and sport has a group of foundations that does that, now, when you get to that place, you will see that one side is for the elite. Which people are there? You will see the kind of edifice, kind of cars that come out from there, and then you look at the other side and you see poverty. You will see people that didn't.
Aren't we breeding criminals? I mean, if you see affluence on one side and there's absolute poverty on the other.
So why would they not jump over? Why would they not meme? Why would they not do something? But if we have the youth and sport coming around their sensitization, we have like 10, 15 NGOs that they know those people, they work with them and all of that. Now, when we went there the first time, they wanted money. They weren't going to talk to us. But when they understood what we were coming to give them, they became our friend. We became their friend and all of that. Now, they will be in the office. We are always in the field there. We see things, we hear things, we bring things. And that's why when I come to Alausa, I breathe down on anybody. I say, you don't understand what it is that
going on.
You are under the sun, you are under the rain, and then you sit in the AC office and tell me I do not have to be involved in the case I brought. Hell no. And like that. So if they do that, I'm telling you that stipend or that money that has been allocated, we get, because those rich people do not go on the street. They drive their car, immediately they park. Those people start rushing down because they know what they came for. Just like when they will see me walking in and they're like, they see a funke and they're like, no, we're not going to talk. What did you bring for us? Because they're poor. Because they don't. That's the only way they know how to.
Let's head to the phones and get in some comments. I know the phone lines have been buzzing. There are comments also on Facebook, and we'll be reading all of them. If you're just listening, we're looking at life in destitute camps, focusing on the story done by Funke Fayemi of Vaughan, Voice of Nigeria, about life of girls in destitute camps. Here are the phone numbers. You can join us now.
Call us on 01-277-0993, 01-277-1993, 01-277-2993, and 01-277-3993. This is Nigeria Info. We are listening.
Nigeria Info, we are listening. Let's first take Ijoma Esek, who's standing by right now at the destitute camp. Ijoma, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Wemimo.
Morning. Quite a noisy place. Tell us what the destitute camp is. Footage is on Facebook already, but tell us what you gathered.
Okay, as you can see, I'm in front of the destitute home in Okobaba, Ebutemeta. And right here you have several people living here. According to information that I've gathered, we have 8 blocks of buildings here, and the 8 blocks of buildings have 22 houses, 22 rooms in it. So now I have with me the secretary of the community and the president, Association of but we are going to be speaking live with we're going to be speaking live with one of the leaders here. His name is Seiki Amadu Abubakar, who is the chairman of Cripple Association of Lagos State. So he's going to be talking to us on their plight and why they've decided to remain here, the fact that lots of people has come to their aid. As you can see the people around here, you can see them. So now we are going to be talking to Seiki Abubakar. Good afternoon, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Live, the video is up there. You can see it right now. Go ahead, Algie.
Okay, so good morning, sir. Can you tell us, can you introduce yourself?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I speak Hausa.
Yes.
Huh?
Go on, but if you speak in English, because of broken English, okay, how you doing?
I did fine, madam.
So tell me, how many people there here?
And the people did Gary Lucky 4,000 man and woman, sugar and sugar.
You don't say well, I don't there for this place.
I don't think.
I say now former military governor Buba
Marwa, yeah. Nahim.
And then when I look at, we don't reach 22 years old a day.
Yes.
So tell me how life there for this place.
Alhamdulillah, I did okay. I thank God why I did it, but no worry, no whatever I can worry people like it before why I did for outside. You know, before now for Kano City I did for Kano City. So Uba Marwa, he called for Governor Lagos. He called see my people there. He said, this is no good. Why can leave people for million like this? Anything can happen. Now you can beat the house to parking old billboard for here.
Okay, can you speak louder?
Yeah.
Speak up.
Hausa.
Speak up. Speak up.
Okay. So I don't take for here. I'm telling you, saying Abuba Marwa a big that place. Like 22 years now I did there. So Alhamdulillah, I thank God. But can we go to school many day for secondary, many don't go.
So
Alhamdulillah, I get bathroom for many. So see that bullock, any bullock you get like it 22. So person why you don't marry, you can give him and buy your sugar. Person why nobody marry, I put like 3 feet, 4 feet for 1 room. That's why I can see the.
when I get any challenges for this community, when you think say both government and the people, corporate organization, now I get any problem.
So many people you can call here for money and food and clothes. Sometimes like this. Alhamdulillah, government, I can bring something, but it will be some time. Like you pay say why you go call here for. Yeah.
Okay, so as you can, with what you can hear from him, they have lots of challenges.
Okay.
And the challenges ranges from stigmatization. They have lots of challenges, and the challenges ranges from stigmatization from even community people. A lot of people don't want to associate themselves with them. And then let me just a clip of what you can experience here. This is the community. We have the association of the blind in this place. We have the association of the lepers also in this place. It is quite unfortunate that even their women deliver themselves. They deliver in this place. I don't think they have the knowledge that government can provide for them free health care for children and their mothers. So in this place, they need, with what I can see, they need help. They go out. When I was coming in,
And this is the community. According to Ijoma, Alexis told us there are 8 blocks, and each block has 22 rooms, and this is all housing 10,000 people. So you can assume what living conditions is like there. Thank you so much, Ijoma Esek, for bringing us that report. Ijoma from Nigeria Info, and she has shown us right now what's going on at Okobaba Destitute Camp.
You can go ahead to see the clips. It's still on our YouTube page and Facebook page as well. You can see for yourself how inhabitants of the camp, are living their lives from afar. You can actually watch from afar. I can see people here.
All right, before we go, let's read some comments we have on Facebook. It's Atonda Kaide Samuel says, thanks for this topic this morning. This is the worst camp for legal occupants, but it is the worst haven for crimes and criminals. It says, I'm a teacher very close to the camp and once lived in the street close. Says, funnily, the police post close to the camp does not help to reduce the rate of crime in that camp. Only hemp is sold and smoked there. Wow. The best thing was for him to relocate away from there. Prince Adebi just says, thank you for discussing this important topic. Thank you. Emmanuel Adams says, good morning to everyone in the studio. Good job you guys are doing. Thank you. Says, but some of these people do not want to be rehabilitated. They prefer being on the road. Olatunde Adeyemo says, destitute is a vocabulary which is too strong for average listeners. Oh, it says, but thank you for the discussant for calling them beggars. Says, although I know what it means, I have used it against Lagos State government when Fashola destroyed Art Center in Lekki without notice. Okay, vocabulary. So you don't know what that's. Okweni Dada says, not until the most vulnerable and exposed in the society is made the target of the government and their policy decision and executions, the country would continue to be backward. And that's it. Prince Olami Hilary says, the funny thing is not the only Hausa that's begging. Even Yoruba women and Igbos join them because they make so much money. Ekadi Mano says begging has become a part of the lives of Lagosians. I think the government is doing nothing or little about this. Yemi Richard says it is high time the law that made any Nigerian live anywhere be reviewed. 95% of those in that camp are from the north. Until education is taken seriously and made compulsory, Nigeria's problems would not go anywhere. We have more comments, but we can't take them all. Thank you all. You can watch a replay of this conversation on Twitter, on YouTube at Nigeria Info FM. But we must go now. More conversations coming up on Nigeria Info throughout the day. But we will be seeing you on Monday.
On Monday, that's right. Feel free to always follow up on our socials at Nigeria Info FM. That's right. Many thanks to our guest this morning, Funke Fayemi, a journalist with the Voice of Nigeria. Funke, thank you very much for coming.
Fantastic report you did.
Thank you.
See everything we've uncovered because of that story. That's what journalists do.
Thank you.
Mrs. Favor Bensing, the Executive Director, Jezebel Touch a Heart Foundation, JTA. Thank you so much, Mrs. Benson, for coming.
Welcome. Thank you so much.
Dr. Mrs. Bola Balogun, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Social Development. Thank you, ma'am, for coming. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for the good job you're doing. Mrs. Oluwatoyin Jayala, Ministry of Youth, Director, Ministry of Youth and Social, Director, Rehabilitation and Rescue. Thank you so much for coming, ma'am.
Can we sneak in a happy birthday to Dr. Mrs. Bola Balogun, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Social Development? It's her birthday. We brought her on her birthday. Happy birthday, ma'am.
Happy birthday, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
All right, Nigeria. We'll see you on Monday. Big thanks to Tosi, Yvonne, and also Zainab for assisting, and to Ijoma Esek, our correspondent right there at the Destitute camp. We will have more of those videos for you on our social media, so go up there so you can see them. But we will be seeing you on Monday morning. I'm excited about that. Have a great weekend, people. I'm Wemimo Adewuni.
And I'm Sharif Quadry.
Stay with us as we cover unfolding events around Nigeria, Africa, and the world. All the news, all day, every day, right here on Nigeria Info. 99.3.
99.3.
Nigeria Info. I am listening.
The headline news.